As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. Let's move on, guys. I have kind of a fun story, a little more lighthearted. And this one's from Louis Vuitton primarily, but Burberry also. The headline here, Louis Vuitton and Burberry are diving into NFTs and online gaming. The luxury brands launch new mobile game, Louis the Game, and monogrammed character Sharky B. So I know specifically the Louis one was in celebration, I think, of the 200th anniversary of their original founder. And Jimmy B and Lindsay, I know you guys played it. I love the intersection of gaming and like high fashion and fashion brands and these, fashion maison. And I'm always curious how well the integration actually happens. Do you guys have thoughts on how well this was done or not well at all? And is it effective, right? Does gaming translate to high fashion?
Lindsay, do you want to go first? I'm happy to talk at length.
Go for it. You go.
Are you sure? Okay. The game is really, really fun. Like, I'm going to start with
Really?
that. I am really enjoying it. It's like the music, the only other game that has better music is Fortnite. And Fortnite, if anyone here that plays it, Fortnite has great music. I don't know if you guys know that. It's a known thing. Fortnite has awesome music. Like in the lobby and the loading, and you can cycle different soundtracks. This Louis Vuitton mobile game has really awesome music. You run around with this cool little character who's shaped like one of their flower logos. He's wearing this awesome Louis Vuitton backpack that I want. You can collect accessories and put them on, like necklaces and different Louis Vuitton things. And I mean, if you're a brand, I don't want to say that word, but if you are really into high fashion,
if you're a brand,
but if you're really into high fashion, it's just like, everything that I have, or everything that you have or that you want in real life, you also want on your second world, your alternate world character that you live through. And Louis Vuitton game, I'm running around Paris right now collecting these candles, collecting accessories, listening to music, and I just have awesome things to say about it. I love that for my job I got to play that game and see if I liked it.
I was like, I'm not downloading this mobile game. Someone else play it so we can talk about it.
Who developed the game, Jimmy?
God, I know it's on Unreal, but I don't know who the developer was. Let me pull it up right now.
That's an interesting thing to know.
Yeah.
Like, if the game is that good, I'm curious to know, because obviously it's they were paid to develop this, I'm guessing. I don't think it was an original pitch.
There's also interesting integration with NFTs. Jimmy, I don't know if you saw this in the article I read. Supposedly you can collect 30 free NFTs as you follow the mascot's Vivian, and I guess you're following her to Paris, but like you can collect 30 free NFTs. I don't know, do you actually own them now? Like are they in a wallet or something, like a crypto wallet? I'm curious, were you guys able to get access to these NFTs?
I don't think I've gotten that far, actually. I mean, I'm literally just jumping around this map, like collecting candles and Louis Vuitton accessories right now. So maybe I'll get there. Yeah.
I was under the impression that it was like 30 exclusive NFTs for people who found them first.
It says, I mean, I don't know. I only know what I read in these articles. I haven't played the game.
Yeah,
But here's the question.
Ready Player One, Jimmy, find the code. You've got to do it.
Was it effective marketing for the brand? Did the game work? Because building a game, and a good game, which this is, evidently, right, can't be cheap, couldn't have been quick, even if it's a mobile game, right? There was clearly some time and cost associated with this that was relatively significant. Now, LVMH is a massive company. and so they can afford that kind of marketing spend. But did you guys feel like it was effective? Did it create awareness of the brand? Like, is the game an effective medium for marketing of high fashion generally, I guess?
So I think, depending on who you are and where you market your product, you have different needs and different concerns, right? Whether or not there's a high enough click-through rate or installs or whatever. Certain brands, like you said, Louis Vuitton and their parent company, are more about just dominating brand awareness, right? Like I think they care less. They don't care that they get 0 clicks that they can attribute on a billboard in Paris, right? Like they want the billboard in Paris. That's their space. They're going to dominate it, as opposed to a smaller luxury goods, right? Which is going to come out with some kind of digital ad campaign, monitor their Google traffic, their Facebook ads, etc. Louis Vuitton already coming out with a League of Legends collab, the trophy, housing the trophies with their boxes, just like they do with the Stanley Cup and in other traditional sports, now coming out with a mobile game. I just love that they're all in on gaming to the point where they're even creating a mobile game where you're going to buy our goods in real life that are exclusive. You're going to watch as your favorite player gets awarded his trophy with our product. And when you're, goofing around in the airport or in class, you're going to be playing a game with our brand on it too. I mean, nothing but good things to say.
But it started simple, right? Like it's simple. It's getting to be quite complex when you start making your own games, right? And that sets a pretty high bar for other high fashion houses and people doing integrations with games. The question is there a market now where we see, a lot of games coming that are like brand integrations? Or is LVMH truly one of the only ones that can do it? Jimmy?
I mean, I genuinely believe this is the start of, not the start of, but I think it's already been happening, but it's on the Unreal Engine. You already know what that means. Like, that's going to get integrated into Fortnite. It's going to be part of that universe. So, you already got cars.
Is there a day where we see a AAA game, like a real, like a shooter that's a legitimate game, esport, thousands of people, streamers are playing it, right? That's fundamentally like paid for by Louis Vuitton.
Well, doesn't this go back to the Dr. Disrespect conversation we were having, and sort of vertical integration in the space, and sponsors obviously like games and esports scenes, right? Like, is there is the question we're sort of asking, like, how far does the vertical integration go, right? Where we think the influencers can make it. What isn't the next logical step for the people who sponsor the influencers to just make it? So I think it's unlikely, there's scope of the firm, strategy stuff that you can look at for general business theory that sort of argue the limits of vertical integration and horizontal, integration, things like that. And I suspect it's unlikely, right? Like if Coca-Cola, and the way I would phrase this to you is, let's say Louis Vuitton had an incredibly successful game developer in-house. Let's say Louis Vuitton owned Epic Games. I don't know, hypothetically. Don't you think that they would be under enormous pressure to divest that asset or spin it out as an independent company? Because people would be saying, there's just not a lot of synergy. You can't have the CEO of a fashion brand running Epic Games. So I think it's unlikely that we see that true level of integration, right? That depth of vertical integration. But I think you could see rare exceptions, and you're seeing, in a lower cost development space by mobile, people are willing to experiment.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the great initial cost, and it's I guess the advantage they have with working with Unreal Engine, and what I was getting at, is the expansion of, maybe these companies and these large brands will just be sponsors for these large esports events that happen within the engine. You know what I mean? So say you're having, not Fortnite, say it's a different game that's also developed in Unreal as an esport from the ground up, right? And that becomes the game that everyone plays as an esport. Louis now has access via the engine and just by, being introduced into that world to be like, hey, we want to sponsor this esport game that is in the engine. So it's not like we're developing it, but since we exist in this, in your universe, right? Maybe that's how they can attach themselves onto games and onto further projects. And I think, honestly, that's what we're going to see moving forward. And Fortnite is just the first tip of the iceberg that we're seeing in that sort of direction.
What I'm curious for is, and it may be a great future guest for this podcast, is, the marketing managers at LVMH, because they've been first movers in a lot of things. Like they did that fashion integration with League. Now you're telling me they did a good, like, I'd be really interesting to see. They are clearly trailblazing in many, like, I would say they are one of the, even before you told me, Jimmy, this was a good game, I would have said they're one of the best examples of a brand finding ways to integrate into esports, right? And doing it authentically and adding value and actually driving, sales of the core product and appeal of the core product. It'd be fascinating to hear from these guys.
I agree. And, it's one of these things where I think we're going to see, again, a little bit of like a ratcheting up of this war, right? Where we're at the stage now where entirely, like, and this is not just, total garbage. These are genuinely good games. I'm curious to see what comes next from LVMH, but also how other brands respond to this, because there's other brands that have the resources that LVMH does if they really wanted to make a great game. I got
really quick. Hold on.
What?
I just want to say, first of all, that there's a massive first mover advantage here because everyone's going to get tired of of downloading brands apps to play games.
Even if the game's good, though, like even if the game's
good, it doesn't matter if you're on your 50th good game. Like being the number one good game is way more important,
though, right? Like,
it doesn't matter. I would still rather go back to that one that I know and like and already have played that's good than worry about the 50th game. I mean, it's like the Chick-fil-A app might be way better than the Wendy's app, but do I want to have 15 fast food apps downloaded on my phone
100%,
just so I can order something?
Well, no. You do want Chick-fil-A over Wendy's, but otherwise the argument checks out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like a little thumb in my shirt.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's app fatigue for everything. So there's a massive first mover advantage here, first of all. And second of all, I just want to really echo Jimmy's point that the music in it is fantastic. Really? It's worth downloading for the music alone. I like played it in my head to fall asleep. It's perfectly tranquil. Like
I gotta get that
excellent.
Soundtrack.
Right.
I gotta get the soundtrack. I wanna buy the stuff that I'm finding in game. I want my Fortnite character. I want my Valorant. I want all my characters to rock the same Louis gear, and then I want to wear it in real life too. Vivian, it's so great.